Hi, welcome back to Speak Up for Blue TV, where you get the latest, greatest, and not so greatest ocean news happening around the world today, and you get my take on it. And who am I? I'm Andrew Lewin, founder of SpeakUpForBlue.com, a website dedicated to supporting the ocean conservation movement through education, awareness, and action. Welcome back to the Monday show. This is where we discuss ocean news happening around the world, like I said. And today we're just going to cover one story. And the story today is about a global alliance, a new global alliance backed by the World Bank. And the World Bank came out last week and announced this new global alliance in Singapore. And it's supposed to be a global alliance that is made up of governments and private sector, scientists, and non-governmental organizations. It sounds wonderful. And it sounds encouraging because the World Bank is actually involved in this kind of thing, and you got economists in the private sector really backing this sort of thing up. But the World Bank is probably one of the major organizations that have really effed things up for the ocean. I mean, they've had major investments in large dam projects, agriculture and aquaculture, which have really turned things and have had some really major problems for the ocean. So experts like Sylvia Earle, a Speak Up for Blue ocean leader, and just global leader around the world for speaking up for the oceans, is a skeptic and asked, why do we need another global alliance? While our current global alliance, the United Nations Protection, or the UN United Nations, or United Nations Environmental Protection Agency, is not working as effectively or as efficiently as planned. For instance, a lot of the rules and regulations that the UN have implemented are not followed by a lot of countries. For instance, the IWC, the International Whale Commission, where they ban whale hunting, and there's a whale hunt going on right now for research. So there's loopholes and things that people try and get around. So it's not really working as effectively and efficiently as it's supposed to. And to be honest, I tend to agree with Sylvia Earle. I mean, we already have global alliances. We already have, non-profit organizations, for-profit organizations. We have a lot of people speaking up for the oceans and things like that. And although it is encouraging to see people coming together, people have already come together. So why hasn't the World Bank just backed the IUCN or the UN and put in money and maybe, put in a different program with those organizations? Why do they have to come out with their own? And it's also kind of funny that in this Singapore, I believe it was put on, this conference was put on by the magazine The Economist. During this announcement in Singapore, the scientists that were supposed to be involved were actually excluded from the meeting because they were at another meeting in Utah in the U.S. And some scientists kind of find it funny. They're just like, well, why were we excluded from this thing? And the people who organized the conference said, it's a big mishap. We did not realize that you were having this big meeting in Utah. So you would think with this new sort of organization or global alliance, they would actually look into this thing, because apparently this conference that was happening in the U.S. was quite major, and the scientists, about 200 scientists that were supposed to be at the Singapore one, couldn't go because they're already going to a scientific meeting in Utah. So you would think the organizers would, kind of get their act together and make sure that they didn't schedule the conference on the same day. Or maybe it's on purpose. Maybe they didn't want the scientists to come. Scientists are very skeptical about ocean conservation because they've seen, especially the senior scientists, they've seen organizations come and go and with great intentions but never really doing anything. Or they say they're going to come out and they're going to fix the ocean, but they mismanage money, and it just all goes to their own greedy little pockets. Not going to mention any names, I don't really know offhand, but this is the rumors that are going around. So you wonder if this was done on purpose to exclude scientists who have been involved in ocean conservation for 30, 40 years, maybe even longer. And another thing that I kind of find funny is this article, which the link is below in the description. I find funny that the World Bank kind of comes out saying, oh, you know what, the oceans are in trouble. We finally realize we're going to admit the oceans are in trouble. So we're going to fix them. We're going to build fish stocks, and we're going to, make sure that people and communities are able to adapt to climate change, and we're going to fix everything. Just that we're going to raise $1.5 billion through all our partnerships and everything, and we're going to fix the ocean. I mean, it sounds a little cocky to me. Kind of sounds like, it's just people looking at numbers and saying, okay, well, numbers of fisheries are going down. People are losing their homes and things like that due to climate change, sea level rise, storm surges. So we're just going to go out, let's just throw a bunch of money at it, let's just fix it. It sounds a little cocky. I know they probably mean their best intentions, but I'm going to be a little skeptical here because we've seen these things happen. We have organizations set up to do these kind of things. So why don't people just join up into one and get things done? So I'm going to leave that thought with you, and I'm going to leave you with the question of the day today, and that is: do you think this global alliance backed by the World Bank will be able to make a difference, or do you think it's just all for show and really nothing's going to happen? Leave your answer in the comments below. And of course, as usual, just share as much as possible. Let's get awareness and discussion, open up discussions about ocean conservation, ocean awareness, ocean education, and share with all your networks, your family, your friends, your social networks on Google+, on Facebook, on Twitter. Stumble upon wherever you want to share, please do so. As usual, I'll have links down to our website, speakupforblue.com, and our Facebook page, our Facebook fan page, our Google Plus page, and our Twitter account, where you can connect with us and ask us questions, ask me questions, and we can open up discussions from there. So I thank you for listening. My name is Andrew Lewin, founder of SpeakUpForBlue.com. Happy conservation.